Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and we're bringing you another edition of the Noob Carrier Chronicles, right here as I try to learn how to not suck at playing new aircraft carriers. 6 months in, I figured, well, it was time for me to get off my ass and try to figure this out. So, we've been working with USS Enterprise, Tier VIII American Premium Carrier, and trying to get better. So, this is a game that shows not that I'm Unicum, but that I am learning and that I am improving. Hopefully, in the idea that I can demonstrate to other people that it is possible to not always suck in this class. So here we are spawning on Hotspot. Now, what I tend to do with my Enterprise now that I've probably got about 10, 12 games in or working on this is I almost always take the rocket planes out. Two reasons. One is they're fast. They're the fastest planes you've got. So let's get over, let's spot the enemy team. Let's get that on the board for my team so we can learn the layout of the enemy team. The other thing, of course, is because, given the opportunity, I would really like to be able to take pot shots at enemy destroyers. Now, that's not always possible. What I tend to do is I'll swing wide, left or right, depending on how the caps are aligned on the map, and then cut across the map perpendicular to the enemy's kind of line of advance as they move towards the middle. That's intentional. Partly because it gives me a nice view and giving me the ability to duck in and out of AARs. You saw me doing a minute ago there with the Atlanta. But also because if I run across a destroyer, chances are I'm going to have him in a broadside, and that's the shot that I want with the targeting reticle on these rockets, which is wider than it is long and very narrow. However, the rockets are very useful against lightly armored cruisers as well. This enemy Schoolers is a good target of opportunity here, so I take a pot shot at him. And, 6,200 there is pretty good. How many pens was that? 10. 10 full pens for 6,200 is nothing to sneeze at. So mainly, I take the rockets out early. This has kind of become my MO with Enterprise. I zoom around early, I spot. I'm looking for destroyers, but of course, there are no destroyers in this game. So that's what I'm following my methodology, even though there's nothing really for me to really focus in on the rockets with. So kind of now, having seen the general disposition of the enemy team, I reach for the AP bombs. Now, the last time I posted one of these videos, I was still struggling with the AP bombs, and I'm still got a ways to go to get really good with these things, but I did finally take the time to spend time in a training room, and especially with the Tier 8 battleships, spend time learning what I could and could not penetrate and reliably citadel. And also kind of what a good drop point for these bombs is. And what I discovered was, when you start a bomb run, you kind of have two reticles, right? An outer one and an inner one. And as you make the bomb run, the outer reticle will slowly move in and kind of line up on that inner one. For the AP bombs for Enterprise, the optimal time to drop seems to be right up the point where those two reticles meet. Like that instant, that's where you want to be dropping. So for dropping these AP bombs on battleships, as long as you can get the approach and the timing correct, the reticle is actually really well sized. It's about the size of most battleships. For cruisers, it becomes a lot more challenging, but certain cruisers, it can be done. And you can citadel certain cruisers. We'll see a little bit of that later on. So I've brought the bombs out because there's a Tirpitz and a Gneiss over here on this side of the map, and I'm looking for some cheap early damage. That's really what I'm here for. I'm trying to give these guys pause, slow down this push, support my team, which is kind of swinging wide down, you see, around the 9-10 line. I'm moving that way, and I'm trying to give these guys some extra damage to kind of help support this push. Now, one of the things that I'm still struggling with, and you see it right there with the dive bombers, is they have to spend so much time solid hit there. That's been so much time in the AA aura without the damage reduction that they frequently get chewed up. Now, one mistake I realized I was making with my Enterprise, after several games after this one, I discovered it on stream just a few days ago, actually, was that I was not using the health module in, I think, slot 4, for my dive bombers. For some reason, I was using the one for the rocket planes. That's a mistake. The rocket squadrons on Enterprise are beefy enough that there's 12 planes in them. You can sustain some losses. It's not a catastrophe. Whereas the dive bombers really need the extra health as we just saw, because they have to push through the outer ring and into the middle ring of the enemy AA and all of that flak before they can even start their dive bomb run and get that damage reduction. But Enterprise's plane reserves are not too shabby. I mean, I lost a bunch. I lost 4 or 5 planes there. Got some solid damage in. 3 sits on the Gneiss. I reached for the torpedo bombers. I've come back. I intend to pick on this guy some more. Now he sees me coming. he's going to turn in and give me the bow shot. That's fine. I'm not really expecting to get a shot out of these. I'm not expecting to land a torp, but it is going to kind of lock him into that course for a little bit while he tries to deal with it. But I do manage to catch one near the bow and get the flood to go with it. Now, this guy is continuing to push. He's being super aggressive. So I'm like, all right, well, if you're going to turn back and give me another beautiful shot, then I'm just going to cross drop you, essentially. He's got almost nowhere to turn at this point. He really can't avoid this. He's just put out the flood and the fires that were on him a minute ago, but I'm going to put a few more torps into him and leave him very, very, very low. There we go. He did pop a heal, it looks like. Yep, he's trying to heal through it, but I think in the end my team is going to bag him. There's several light cruisers over there. Oh, they've lost sight of him. So last time we saw him, he was on 1,400 HP. I reach for the AP bombers once again. Now, when I start this run, I'm looking... My first thought is I'm going to finish off the Gneiss, but as we see there, my team did manage to fish him out. He's dead. As I leave my deck here, I see the enemy, the enemy Lexington, bringing in his dive bombers for a run on some of my ships. So I'm going to go drop a fighter as I kind of move in this general direction. And then I'm going to take these AP bombers. Now, I'm looking for the Tirpitz. The Tirpitz, the Fiji, and I forget who else it is. The Schools that we were beating up on earlier have all moved into the middle of the map. And so what I'm looking for right now is I want to go get these AP bombs on the Tirpitz. Of course, the Gneiss' catapult fighter's still there. I'm going to duck around him and skip out on that. My fighter doing a little bit of work behind me, defending my team. I'm getting better about recognizing opportunities for that, but it's a skill that I'm still acquiring. So as we cut into the center of the map, again, I'm trying to find this Tirpitz, the Fiji pops up. And I think, all right, so this is actually a really good opportunity for me to find out if I can Citadel cruisers. Now, I ought to be able to, but my experience from old Enterprise bombs is that they would more reliably overpen the bejesus out of cruisers than they would reliably Citadel them. This guy does me a huge favor. He kind of turns in, makes this a little easier of a drop, but I do manage to land a sit, so lesson learned. I'm not able to recover the bomb run in time to get one in on the Tirpitz, so I have to turn, and right here by these guys, I'm like, am I going to be able to get back in here? I'm taking losses, and I decide this is probably bad, so I just pull those planes out. We'll get them back to the deck and get them re-upped. I reach for, instead, the torpedo bombers. Now, if you look at the mini-map, you can see that the enemy team has really pushed hard for our cap circle, of course, this being a standard battle. The Fiji looks like he might be over there. The Atlanta's probably headed in that way. And, well, yeah. So, seeing the two light cruisers, I send the torpedo bombers back, and I reach for the rockets again. Now, taking the rocket planes in against an Atlanta, probably not the smartest thing I could be doing. But I also know that I'm really just, at this point, I'm looking for resets. I'm just trying to get a couple of passes off, keep them busy. With two ships in the cap circle, that cap time is greatly reduced. I think it's on the order of about 90 seconds or 100 seconds, rather than the 3 minutes it takes if it's just a single ship. So I'm realizing, all right, I got to try and buy some time here while I can. The Ranger, my friendly carrier, has managed to get himself sunk because his positioning was terrible. So it's literally just me able to send planes in for this. The Atlanta bows in, so I don't get a great drop on him. I still get, 5 pins, 3K. I get a little bit of resets, not bad. I try for a run on the Fiji, but this is another example of me getting in a hurry. I blow the drop completely. He turns in, and then the Atlanta's AA starts to shred me, and I decide, nope, I got to pull out what I can salvage. So once again, we talked about Enterprise's deep plane reserves. Now I go back to the torpedo bombers. Figuring, all right, the North Carolina's doing a really good job of beating up on the Atlanta, so the odds of him capping are not good. I'm going to try and push the torpedo bombers in. Again, my plan is to get a run on the Atlanta, and then we'll see what we get for targets of opportunity. But there's a lot of damage going in on that Atlanta. He might not still be there. Oh, he's not going to be there when I get there. So it's really about the Fiji. Again, the Fiji right now, the angle to me looks terrible. I'm kind of checking the minimap. You can see there the Lexington fighters. The Lexington is actually spotted in the middle of the map, believe it or not. That's a concern for another moment. I've got to get my run off on this Fiji. He's turning to give me a great profile here. I was really kind of surprised to see him do this, but it does give me the chance to get a decent little drop off here. I start to turn to the right. I do turn to the right. I probably should have turned left away from the Vladivostok, who has significantly better AA than the Tirpitz I would have dealt with had I turned to port. So now I'm trying to get around for yet another drop on this Fiji. He's still in the cap circle. I want him dead. So we're going to come back around here and set up for another run from the same direction that we did a minute ago. And once again, he's turning to give me just a beautiful, beautiful shot. So, okay, I'll take it. Let's get these torpedoes into the water, and then I'm probably going to pull this squadron out of here because I'm not going to get much else out of them. Now, we're down ships. We do manage to bag the Fiji, but we just lost 2 ships in quick succession. They're in our cap circle. We're down 200 points in a ship. Things are really not looking that great for the team. I'm continuing to throw planes back at the forces they have on our cap circle, but mysteriously, bizarrely, the enemy Lexington is in our cap circle, and there's 3 light cruisers over here able to punish him for his, well, his insolence. Now, I'm here with the rockets just to looking for cheap cap resets. That's my goal, but I don't want to take these planes too close to the Lex while he's still alive because his AA is nasty. He's out of the equation. Now we'll go in for a run on the Tirpitz. Again, I've got a great profile on the Tirpitz here, but not going to get a ton out of these rockets. Well, it's 4K. It's not a bad hit. I really wanted to fire, but I didn't get that. And I decide, okay, ooh, fighters. Oh, fighters feel bad. Stop that. I decide, okay, I got to reset on the Tirpitz. I want to reset on the Spey. Let's do the same thing. We'll get a runoff here. And that's not a great drop, but I do manage to ping him with a rocket for a reset. We managed to bag another kill along the way. Game's back tied, but of course they're sitting on our cap circle, so we're not ticking up points the way they are at the moment. I grab the AP bombs, and now I want this Tirpitz. This Tirpitz is pushed pretty far over here. To me, that's the easy target of opportunity. The Spey is behind him. The Baltimore is too far to the north to support him. These AP bombers, if I can get these drops to land well, should be very, very, very punishing to this guy, who has still a fair chunk of health for a Tirpitz. Team, unfortunately, is just getting wrecked. They have no idea how to stay alive. This is the frustration I have with so many random teams these days, right? Like, literally all you have to do is stop dying. Maybe that means you have to stop shooting for a few seconds, but no, they're almost incapable of it. This Tirpitz player is a wily little cuss. He does manage, I don't know if he sees me coming or this was just the approach angle he wanted to take, but he turns back in, kind of throws off my drop a little bit. I'm going to come in at an angle rather than the great straight bow to stern straight that I wanted, but I am going to land a few hits here and a Citadel. So some decent damage, about 8k out of that drop. And now I have a much better ability to turn around and come in from astern and hopefully get the big multi-Citadel hit that I am really, really here for with these planes. Start the run. Tirpitz's AA is worse than that of Bismarck, so I'm a little less concerned about being in his mid-range aura. We go for the drop. Well, it's another Citadel, but only a couple of overpins to go with it. So we're not getting it, like, for our 6 bombs, we're still only really getting about 6 or 7k. I need better. I need more AP hits. I needs them. So we're going to try one more time with these last few planes. I am going to lose one on the way in. But these last guys are going to survive to drop. Or are they? Nope, he dies on the way in. I put 2 bombs down for an overpen, and 1 more sit on the forward Citadel. So again, my damage numbers look pretty good. I've got a kill. I've got 100k damage. I've got a decent amount of spotting damage and some plane kills. The team is just melting. We've managed to catch back up a little bit. We're only down 1 ship now, but we're down 200 points. Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. Now we're down 2 ships. So again, I go to the opportunity, right? Like, I saw this Colorado off by himself. The carrier was sending planes. Like, easy opportunity for me to drop a fighter to at least try to help out some. And I do manage. Of course, those kills are actually coming off of my AA because I'm literally right here. Now, I'm spotted, of course. I'm under attack. I'm not super concerned. I don't mind trading some of my HP if it means that there's shots not going in on my team. I'm not afraid to give up a little bit of my HP. It's not really going to radically change the equation. So I brought the Torp bombers out now. No, excuse me. These are the dive bombers again. Still trying for the big Citadel hits on this Tirpitz. But man, I'm just really struggling. I'm not getting the damage that I really want to be getting out of these things. He's moving very slow. I don't time this drop very well. And I think I dropped the bombs just a little early. I did not get a great dispersion to go along with that. Now he's turning to port, which allows me to loop around and try again from astern. This is probably going to be the last drop I'm going to get out of the squadron with the damage I'm taking. So this is a great angle. Here we go. Oh, he's still turning. All right, I got to adjust. There's the adjust. And another Citadel, but still only the one. And now things are starting to look pretty bad, right? Now we're down 3 ships. It's just the Colorado versus New Mexico in our cap circle. You'd think the Colorado would win that, but spoiler, you'd be wrong. Especially since our other surviving battleship is now dead. So it's down to me and the Colorado. I'm 4 ships down. This is a loss, right? There's pretty much no way I can salvage this. I'm coming back in with the rockets, mostly because I was hoping he might continue to turn. I'm really seeing, again, I'm just reaching for something simple, easy, trying to bag a fire and some cheap damage here. These things I can put 2 or 3 attack runs out very quickly. And the HFARs are not bad, right? They're not Tiny Tims, but they're not awful. Do manage to bag a fire with that particular drop, so that's nice to see. I kind of screw up my navigation here a little bit as well. I give these guys to the north more of an angle on me than I should have. The Colorado's getting his butt kicked, so I'm like, fine, I'll bring out the torpedo bombers and we'll end this. So he's going to die momentarily. There he goes, and I decide, well, at least we've got to kill this New Mexico, and the torpedo run is going to finish him off. So, and then there was just me. Now, I should have turned farther south here. I'm giving these battleships north of me too much of an angle as I try to run for the island cover. I'm going to take a couple of pretty solid hits here, and that's eventually going to sink me. I mean, I can't win this game, right? The best I could hope for would be to maybe try to continue to harass this Tirpitz and bag him on the way out the door, but the game is over. We are going to lose. But as I go in for my last run here, I managed to take just enough catastrophic damage, and, well, that's all she wrote before those torps will even land. So, a loss for the team. I don't feel like I played that badly, and if nothing else, I can demonstrate that I'm learning. I'm getting better, right? Like, I'm able to I know now what I can and can't reliably Citadel, what I should be throwing my AP bombs at. I feel like I'm making decent choices in terms of what planes I'm putting off the deck at any given moment, and why I'm doing it. And, yeah, so, again, I'm far from a unicum, but I feel like there's improvement here, and I'm learning kind of some of Enterprise's quirks. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I'm still enjoying this ship. I'm going to continue to work with it. You'll see some more of these coming out in the future. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.